Welcome to Bob Cargill's Marketing Show, a ridiculously awesome podcast bursting with insightful commentaries and intriguing conversations on the topics and issues that are on the minds of marketers, advertisers, social media, and PR professionals today. Hey, everybody, how are you? I hope you are all doing very, very, very well. This is Bob Cargill, and this is Bob Cargill's Marketing Show, episode 208. Episode 208, yes. And this is my podcast. I record it on Riverside Video and put it up on YouTube and maybe slice and dice it and clip it, the highlights of it. From beginning to end, it's one long highlight, of course, but I put some short form video out there. And then it's hosted on Podbean. Yes, the audio is hosted on Podbean. And that's where it's been hosted since the very, very beginning. All 208 episodes. Then, from there, audio-wise, it gets blasted to wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. So, wherever you are listening to your favorite podcast, yes, if you listen to this, I guess that makes mine one of your favorite podcasts. I hope so. And if this is your first time listening, tune in regularly, subscribe, spread the word. I've been doing this for a long time, never mind just the podcast. I mean marketing in general. Bob Cargill's Marketing Show, before it was Bob Cargill's Marketing Show, back in 1983 is when Bob Cargill, moi, started in the marketing industry. And I've been around the block a few times, as they say, and very proud of that, and try to share all of my experience with all of you listening, watching, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, recording this on Sunday, April 26, 2026 from my home office. This is where I do all my work at home, and I am here in front of the computer a lot and have been for years. Again, marketing since 1983, but remember that's like, let's say 15, 17 years or so without the internet, approximately. But once the internet came around, and I was a direct mail copywriter, I was a creative director, I was immersed in the creative side of marketing from the get-go. And that's, again, my get-go was 1983, RCA Direct Marketing, Warner Brothers Publishing, Meredith Corporation, then came back east and started working at small agencies like L.W. Robbins Associates and Jordan Savage Direct, and I could go on and on. My last full-time corporate gig, but wait, I got to get up to the beginning of this century when the internet emerged. So early 2000s, I embraced it and social media. I had a job at a .com, which became sadly a .bomb. That is .com companies, that's how they referred to back then, that went out of business. .coms became .bombs, and that was 1999, 2000, digital goods. Thank you for that opportunity. It was fantastic working there. Sadly, again, we went out of business, but that's when I get my real taste of like email marketing, online, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's when I discovered blogging and eventually started my blog in 2004. And then social media, all over all the channels, if you will, Facebook, Twitter, as it was called then, now X, Instagram, YouTube. Yes, I was doing YouTube videos way back in the beginning. Now I have over 1,200 videos on my YouTube channel. So then again, more and more agencies, small, medium-sized agencies, Vistaprint, a stint there as a senior copywriter, L.W. Robbins Associates, and I could go on, and I am going on, aren't I? But showing you, telling you, illustrating you, painting the word picture of all the experience, and that's the book. It's all in that book, 20 Jobs, 20 Lessons, A Long, Strange Career in Marketing from Junk Mail to Social Media, and what led me to this point, meaning embracing social media. The last full-time job was Overdrive Interactive, left there in 2017, spring of 2017, and I've been teaching ever since. And now I teach at Northeastern University. I teach at Mass College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences. I teach at Suffolk University. I have taught at Fisher College. And the courses I teach are business and social media and marketing. And yeah, all of that leads me to saying, again, I hope you are well. I hope you are doing very, very well. And let's get started with Bob Cargill's Marketing Show, episode 208. We are going to say at the top that I have been remiss in recording episode 208, meaning there's been a little chunk of time between 207 and 208, and that's maybe 6 weeks, not that long. But I wanted to tell you that I have been featured guest on a couple other podcasts, and I want to give them a shout out. Chetna Rohilla from AMA Boston, and just look it up, amaboston.org. Her podcast is called Talking Marketing. She had me as a guest. Thank you, Chetna. And also Gianna Laura Salazar, The Lights On. She had me as the first guest on her podcast. You can look that up, The Lights On, or look up Gianna Laura Salazar. But very honored, happy to have been guests on their podcast. So I've been keeping busy, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about, is not just those two podcasts, but how else I've been keeping busy in the last 4 to 6 weeks. As I said the other night, which is what Noah Khan said a few nights before, I've been booked and busy. I heard him say that on the Jimmy Fallon show, and that's what it has been for me lately. I've been booked and busy, or busy and booked, whatever the order of busy and booked and busy is. I've been both simultaneously, concurrently, all at the same time, and juggling an awful lot these last few months. It's been a busy stretch, and let me tell you all about it. Let me tell you all about, let's start with teaching. I'm at Northeastern University. This can be very, very brief. Northeastern, Suffolk, and teaching at Suffolk, two sections of the same business class course, and that's business communication. And we're winding down in the next couple of weeks, the semester, and they've been given a lot of presentations in the classroom, and they're wicked smart, ridiculously awesome are my students. I think the world of each and every one of you students. But yeah, we're going through, it's writing, it's presentations, it's online assignments, in-person assignments, and they're coming down to their final presentations this coming week. They're giving persuasive projects and presentations on things they think, higher ed in general, but specifically, Suffolk University, whatever they think they can suggest as new initiatives for the school. And I'm really looking forward to their presentations. It's a big deal. No final exam. This is a final presentation instead, and that's at Suffolk. And at Northeastern, I'm teaching grad students at the College of Professional Studies social media, and really enjoying that. It's a social media and brand strategy implementation course, and we've been going live. We're only 3 or 4 weeks into the semester right now. We've gone live on Instagram in at least 2 of the 3 classes, I think it is, we've had. And we're going to I am planning to have us go live in almost every class on a social media channel, if not a multitude of social media channels currently. We practice what we preach. That's immersive learning, experiential learning. So the teaching, that's been keeping me busy. And the marathon I ran very recently, let's see if I can show you the medal. Yeah, it's there. 26-point true marathon. That was in Roxbury and outside of Boston just a little bit. It's in Boston. One of the communities in Boston, Roxbury. And we ran through Roxbury. It finished in Roxbury, started in Roxbury, and ran through Dorchester and Jamaica Plain and Mattapan. And this was, for me, instead of the Boston Marathon. I've run the Boston Marathon 20 times, and that's 17 times for charity. And now we've run 24 marathons, a couple marathons in New York back in the 80s, one in Amherst way back, and when I was in college at UMass Amherst. But now I got a new one to add to my, the medals, the 26-point true, the accomplishments, and I'm proud especially of this one. It was on the streets of Boston, sidewalks of Boston, through those neighborhoods, through those communities, and did it in under 5 hours just last week, 2 days before the Boston Marathon, which was on Monday. This was on Saturday, April 18, and did it again for another 26.2 miles for Christopher's Haven, a ridiculously nonprofit organization in Boston. They provide housing for families whose kids are undergoing cancer treatment. And again, I had run a bunch of times the Boston Marathon for Christmas Haven. Now I've done it for Christmas Haven, again, running the 26.2 marathon, and I'm very, very proud of that and thankful to all of my donors. So that, yeah, I got that done. So that kept me busy. So teaching, running, the podcast. Yes, the podcast. We're back. It's only been a couple weeks longer than I usually take in between episodes. The big deal, yes, was this right here. That was the big deal. That was April 10th, Friday, April 10th. Yeah, coffee mug too. We got mugs. We got T-shirts. and that's a little poster. The Bob Cargill's Marketing Roadshow. And that was the third time around. Yeah, you got the first one in 2019. This is 2024, now 2026. We're going to do it again, maybe in 26. Believe it or not, we might get it done in the fall, if not sometime in 2027. It was an event like no other. I am so thankful to the volunteers, probably about 20, probably more than 20 at any given time. So let's say 15 to 25 volunteers approximately, most of them college students or young professionals. And one colleague at Suffolk, thank you, Dill. I mentioned Gianna Laura Salazar, her podcast earlier on. I have to give her a special shout out. She was the project manager for this event, and she's a senior graduating soon from Suffolk University. Thank you, Gianna. She was my partner in putting this thing together. All the volunteers were my partners, and we did it, guys. We had probably 150 or so in attendance, and around 180 to 200 total bodies there in at Holt International Business School where the event was hosted. In totality, not all at one time, but we're counting about 30 speakers and the 20, 25 plus volunteers, and approximately 130 tickets distributed. So this was a success, and I can't thank the volunteers enough. And I want to obviously thank all the sponsors and Marketing HQ. I need to give them a special shout out for being a financial sponsor of the event. That made a big difference. Rob Young, thank you for that. And we had Birdie's Hot Chicken and Taco John's as food sponsors, and we had Holt as the host, and we really appreciate them, and AMA Boston for their support and getting the word out and helping to promote this event. And Christmas Haven was the beneficiary of some funds we raised and raffling off some gift cards, thanks to Birdie's Hot Chicken and Tacos John's, and then Taco John's provided the food. And we had a taco eating contest at the end. We had a great party at the end of this thing. It was a great day. I opened things up with so the theme of the event was the business of being human. It's Bob Cargill's Marketing Roadshow. The theme this time around was the business of being human. And at 10 o'clock, I started things off. This was at Holt International Business School in Cambridge. And great slides. Avisha Vasnani, a student of mine who did the slides, I give her a very, very exuberant, enthusiastic shout out for the great, fantastic, ridiculously awesome work she did on these slides, the business of being human. But I started out by bringing up Elias. And I'll tell this story now. It would be good on a podcast like we are doing right now, recording right now, meaning a nice little story. Elias, I met in the fall when I was getting on the T. Well, when I was on the T, the Green Line, going from Riverside into Boston, getting off at Fenway, sometimes Longwood, sometimes maybe other different stops too, but usually when I'm going in for work, it's either Longwood or Fenway or all the way to Park Street. But anyways, I digress. Let me talk about Elias. He was the announcer and the driver. I say this, I don't know if that's how they drive. It's just kind of holding on to, I don't know how exactly all the buttons and devices and gadgets that they have in front of them in the cockpit, if you will, while they're steering or getting us through from beginning to end our journey. But Elias was doing that, driving and announcing the stops. And what stood out for me, and listen, I'm saying Elias first person, name, first name basis, is like I know him really, really well. I feel like I know him really, really well. But let me tell you the story. He was driving, announcing on the T, green line, going into Boston, and he was announcing like there was no tomorrow, all the different stops and other related announcements, okay, about the journey into Boston. Now, usually they all do a great job, the announcers, the drivers. Sometimes it's recorded, sometimes it's live, telling you, hey, doors, open, watch out for the closing doors. We're stopping next at Reservoir or Brookline Hills, or like I say, Fenway or Longwood or Park Street. He was so enthusiastic, so like a DJ, like a pitchman, and enlivened the mood, lifted spirits. Otherwise humdrum, ride into the Boston, into work, just another day. But he got my attention, and I took a selfie with him. This was in the fall of 2025. I think it was early October. And I took the selfie and put it up on social and praised the heck out of Elias and the MBTA, as deservedly so, for making my day. And that was that. I mean that. I mean that. It was a relative blip in time back in October 2025, and I thought about it occasionally, now and then. How great he was, and how nice it was to meet him and take that picture. But I do that. Take a lot of pictures, put things on social media. I have many, many, many moments that I try to immortalize, if you will, capture. And it's when they're positive moments, especially. That was one of them. Fast forward, let's say only a couple of months ago, let's say February, March-ish timeline. So we're talking 4 to 6 months, 6 months approximately later. I am getting off the T in Riverside. So that's in Newton. I'm on my way home to Sudbury. I drive in from Sudbury, get on the train in Riverside, going to Boston. Now I'm going back. I think it was a Friday night, but it was at nighttime, and I'm tired, and I get off the train in Riverside, and someone comes up to me and reaches out to shake my hand. They say, "Are you Bob Cargill?" And I swear this is true, because I have a guilty conscience. We won't get into that, my issues, but I thought, did I do something wrong? Did I forget to pay, or did I cross over the tracks, which you're not supposed to do, which I don't do? But was I not thinking where I was walking? But no, he was there to say something nice. He said, Bob Cargill, we met last fall, and then I remembered, you took my picture, and you made my day. You gave me lots of attention and positive praise, which meant a lot to me, especially back at work. It got me some positive attention from colleagues, that kind of thing. I'm paraphrasing. This is what I recall him saying to me. And I said, wow, that's awesome. And I said, well, you're making my day now. This is a full circle moment. You're making me very happy that I made you so happy, and those around you. And I said, how did you remember me, though? Maybe it's the yellow glasses. I know that's a dead giveaway. But he said, I took that picture you took and put up on Instagram, and I have it on my visor in my car, dashboard, the sun visor, and I look at it from time to time. And I said, oh my, I really did immortalize a moment. So I really captured a positive moment that made a difference to him, to me, to his colleagues, to now my audience, because I'm talking about it at Bob Cargill's Marketing Roadshow at Holt in front of 100 plus people in the audience, as an example of the business of being human. So congratulations to you, Elias. Congratulations to you, MBTA. I want to praise you for how much of a difference you made, Elias, and how I felt that day, and I'm sure how many others felt that day, taking their ride on the MBTA. And that's an example of the business of being human, meaning it's not just waiting for the train, getting on the train. The train might be late. Usually it's on time. It might be crowded. Usually it's not. I get a seat. I'm comfortable. it goes perfectly. But I'm just saying, instead of the routine, quotidian, day in and day out experience, you made it a special experience. And that's the business of being human. And if companies can do that, whether they're the MBTA or some, I don't know, pizza shop or some big high-tech organization or higher ed institution or hospital or what have you, the business of being human is not forgetting the personal touch and emotional intelligence versus, everybody's smart, everybody can get the answers, has the capabilities, the products, the services, it's all good. Technology making everything, up here, but we can't forget the personal side. We can't forget to put a face on the brand. And in this case, Elias was the face on the brand being the MBTA. And Elias, I thank you. I give you props. There's the long version of that story. That was the beginning of my presentation. Then the whole point was I talked about how everybody's a rock star. Everybody has fans. And we just need to put ourselves out there. And I referred to David Meerman Scott when he talks about fanocracy. I think that was the name of one of his books. But the concept of having fans and they're loyal and don't just think of your customers as customers and revenue generators. Think of them as friends and fans. And then he talked about Mark Schaefer and his book Known, which is all about personal branding. And earlier this year, he said it was one of his most popular books right now in 2026, but he wrote it like 9 years ago. I talked about Gary Vaynerchuk, and he talked about being human. I talked about all the things I've been talking about for years, and that is the importance of being human in business. I always felt that way even before the internet, but then with the internet, social media gave you a chance to put yourself out there and not just connect with the people you can connect with in person, but the people you can connect with online, which gives you the exponential reach that everyone now, that is possible to everyone now. So like a Justin Bieber or the President of the United States or, athletes and celebrities and really, really, really successful people, everybody has the chance to reach as many people as they want on a daily basis at all times of the day if we put ourselves out there and take that risk. It's a level playing field thanks to social media. And because of social media, then I brought up Giles Crouch. He's a digital anthropologist. And social media, he says, has, I'm quoting from an article he wrote, it's wrought on humanity. The changes it has wrought on humanity are ones that would have taken multiple generations, perhaps over hundreds of years to happen before. So he's saying in, let's say, the last 15, 20, 25 years, the changes are exponential, okay? Dramatic, seismic. They are huge, monstrous in terms of, changing how we live, how we think. And what I'm saying right now is our digital habitus. We have our physical habitus, how we view the world, the norms, the behaviors, and then now we have our digital habitus. And that's thanks to the internet, and that's thanks to social media, and AI is now upon us. And we need to, as I was discussing in my presentation, try to find the happy medium, be at the intersection of the digital and the physical habitus, okay? Because right now this is the intersection. Me here and you wherever you are, that's our physical habitus, but we're meeting digitally online, YouTube or the podcast, wherever you're listening to it, or on my social media. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's the combination of our digital and physical habiti, that we need to find a happy medium and connect with each other and realize that there's a new form of human consciousness thanks to this internet life, our digital world. And that means we're always connected. We're always visible. At least we have the potential. We're always reacting. Things are spontaneous. Algorithms change how we think. Instant gratification, reduced patience. I'm going through my slides very, very, very quickly for you. Curated authenticity. Authenticity is important, so important. It's being ourselves, and that's what's going to separate ourselves from the competition. Okay? Be vulnerable. Flaws and all. Be vulnerable. You know, bumps, bruises, that's part of life. Health isn't always good. Mental, physical, health, miseries, ailments. We fall down from time to time, and we have to pick ourselves back up more times than we fall down. And that's part of our story. That's part of our journey. And we want to share that with others, both in person and online, so that they will get to know us. And the more they get to know us, the more they will ideally like us and respect us and trust us. And therein lies my point when they talk about social media for business. Trust is valuable. Trust is invaluable. And trust is scarce. No longer are we in the days of Walter Cronkite, the most trusted man in America back in, I don't know, the 70s, 80s, 90s time period, 60s, 70s, 80s time period, when he was the announcer of the news and we all believed what he said. And traditional news was, your newspaper and the radio and TV. Those days are gone. There's a lack of trust now. So we have to earn that trust by being genuine, by being transparent, by being authentic. I think you get it. That was the big theme of my presentation at Bob Cargill's Marketing Roadshow. That was the kickoff. And then we had so many other speakers, from Amrita Dada to Kash Patel to Edil Sonati Barry, Carrie Mays, Jeff Taylor. Oh, Jeff, Boom Band. Thank you so much, Jeff Taylor. He did some amazing things as the keynote. He founded Monster.com years ago. Now he has Boom Band, and Boom Band is his new company. It's all about online dossiers and personal branding, and you upload all this information to Boom Band, and that's your personal dossier or professional dossier. It's your dossier online, and it's who you are as a person and professional. And their AI helps match you with employers and helps employers find employees, ideally you. That's Boom Band. And Jeff, it was amazing to have Jeff Taylor as the keynote speaker, the featured keynote speaker, lunchtime keynote speaker, 12 to 1 at Bob Cargill's Marketing Roadshow. I was so lucky. I've been a fan of Jeff's. I've watched his career, and we're in the same age bracket and in the same locale, geographically speaking. And I've, again, watched his career from beginning to end, and it's not ending at all. He's in the thick of it like I am. So beginning up until now, and to have him, I feel like, Jeff, I consider you a friend, having met you on April 10th, and how nice you were to me and everyone who was at the road show. You are a great guy, and you were a great speaker. Jeff did some crazy things too, like give out bananas to everybody in the audience to make a point about how we eat bananas and need to think about things non-traditionally. Like, everyone eats bananas, pulling the stem down, but he said actually the fastest way to eat a banana, like monkeys eat a banana, is the other way. I don't have a banana to demonstrate. He also asked people to take a shoe off, and the point was to let go of our inhibitions. And why did some people actually not do that in the audience versus most of the people having done that? He also gave away a $100 bill, and his point was, he held it up, and he kept holding it up and kept talking about it until someone actually ran and grabbed it out of his hand. And that was his point. You have to want it that bad if you want success. Jeff Taylor, amazing. Christina Inge, Rosemary, LaCroix, Brian Alves, Ely Lama, and Rami, they were our AI panel. And then on marketing, I'm going through all of this very, very fast, trying to give people shout outs, and I hope I don't miss any names. If I do, forgive me. Forgive me if I miss your name or skip over anyone, but I'm looking at the agenda and going over it and reminding myself and giving you a little indication of how amazing Bob Cargill's Marketing Roadshow was. We had Michael Granoff, Rob Young, Andrew Cassidy, Tim Halley, and Julie Demopoulos, Mokshada Haqqani speak on digital marketing. And then we had Adi Bucola and Emily Sherio and Brad Powell and Amaya Darimi and Maddie Boumé talk on social media and influencer marketing. Then we had the student panel with Vandana Patel from Northeastern, Ajit from Suffolk, and Taha Mummood from Hult, and Gianna Laura Salazar from Suffolk, and Antonio Mora from UMass Boston. Guys, this was amazing. And we closed with Susameta Bilapati and Mark Goldschmidt with their closing keynotes, short keynotes. And then we had entertainment. We had Michael Granoff doing magic. And we had Daron St. Marie singing, and he was fantastic. And then we had the taco eating contest. And did I say, yeah, I did say Amaya and Daron, they were the singers, and then the taco eating contest, and Michael Granoff as the magician. And what could be better? This was the success from beginning to end, and I'm so happy, so proud, and so thankful. That was Bob Cargill's Marketing Roadshow. I think you got an idea how busy I've been. And I'm trying to encapsulate it all into, say, 30, 35, 40 minutes. So let's slow down a little bit, and let me make this point about AI. Are you using AI? First of all, if you're not, you're falling dangerously far behind. You have fallen dangerously far behind already, okay? So don't do that. Don't be a Luddite, a laggard, and miss the boat, miss the opportunity, because AI is here, obviously, to stay, and it's changing our lives. And yeah, in most cases for the better, but yeah, there has to be guardrails and regulation and all of that, just like there should be more of that for social media and on the internet. We'll get there. It's all moving so fast. But I want to tell you something I've been doing with AI with my classes. I did this last fall, and I'm doing it this spring a little bit. And that's using Google Notebook language model, notebook language model, to turn. So it takes the content you upload and turns it into a podcast or a slideshow or study notes or flashcards or a quiz. It gives some amazing, spectacular results in minutes. And I've been recording some of my classes. I upload it and wait for the output, and then I share the output with my students the following week. And it's a great way to relearn, to review what we discussed last week. And it's spoken by a third party, the AI. The podcast is two different voices, two different, sounds like real people. It is so amazing. It sounds like you're on, the news or a documentary someone had covered. They were there covering from beginning to end what it is you presented or whatever it is you upload. They can talk about and dissect and share and teach and review and recap in, frankly, a better way. I have to admit, and that's what AI is, frankly, guys. Come on. It's the PhD in every single subject. It's miraculous. Come on. Let's agree. NotebookLM is amazing. And it then creates slides that I can show. The presentation I gave the preceding week again. And again, I wouldn't use any of this verbatim publicly, certainly not without citing it. But this is where I say the business of being human. We can't just let AI replace us. We can't just use AI instead of what we can do. So we want to combine, use it as a partner, use it to enhance what we do. So yeah, the lecture initially is mine, the slides are mine. But then I can replay it and show it and recap and reiterate thanks to NotebookLM, and maybe get the points across even better the second time around. Okay? So try it. It's fantastic. You can use it. You can upload, documents. You can upload video, audio, and have a good time with it. Give it a ride or two or three, and I think you're going to be happy with that you did and with the results. And that's Google Notebook language model that I have been using, and I want to give it a shout out and tip you and suggest to you and recommend to you that you try it yourself. I am almost done. I want to go back to talking about the Bob Cargill's Marketing Roadshow and the promotion that was done for this event, and I want to thank all of those, JP and Cole and so many. I forgive me, I'm not naming all the names. The volunteers are amazing, and Gianna as the project manager, all of you, Avisha, I've mentioned quite a few of her, Anika, I could go on, and forgive me if I'm missing names. Of course I'm missing names. It was 20 plus volunteers who were amazing and are amazing, are awesome, are ridiculously awesome. Rock stars, each and every one of you. And we created some amazing content, and I heard so many compliments and so many commendations and so many props and kudos from people saying what great promotion Bob Carr's Marketing Roadshow had this time around. It's always had good promotion, but this was like off the charts. And it was user-generated content. It was really funny, entertaining content. It was the way, to me, marketing should be done, and we practiced what we preached. That was the business of being human. We marketed the event, which was a business event, mostly students, but a lot of professionals as well. It was for both, and it will be, again, for both. But we marketed it in a way that we just blended into the social media stream, the social media feed, as though we were just having fun and talking about what we're going to do in this experience that we wanted people to take part in with us. And by the way, prices were very, very affordable. Thanks again to the sponsors, Marketing HQ and Taco John's and AMA Boston and Birdie's Hot Chicken and Hull International Business School. We did it, guys. We did it. And, let's salute, let's cheers. Yes, you know what I'm saying? Congratulations to the team. Congratulations to the volunteers, the sponsors, the speakers, and everybody who came and attended. You made such a big difference in my life, and I think and hope we made, as a team, a big, big difference in your lives, whoever was there to attend. Guys, that's all I got for today. 36 minutes and counting, and I don't want to go on too long. This is episode 2A, Bob Cargill's Marketing Show, my podcast. It's on YouTube. It's on Podbean, it's on wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, and I hope this is one of your favorite, if not the favorite of yours in terms of listening to podcasts. And follow me on social media. Connect with me on LinkedIn, on X, on Instagram, on TikTok. I'm everywhere, Facebook, and I advise anyone in marketing to be conspicuous in their presence on social media. So important nowadays, as I said, to keep up with technology, AI, social media, the internet, digital this, digital that, keep up with it. But again, remember, I preach the business of being human. I preach, don't forget, be yourself. Don't forget in person. Don't forget genuine authenticity, day in and day out. Be there for people, help people, listen to people, be empathetic. Human qualities matter more than ever today in the age of the internet, social media, and AI, and these digital worlds, the digital habitus in which we all live, work, play, etc. That is very, very important, but the happy medium is meeting at the intersection of that digital habitus and that physical habitus, and that's in which we all live right here, right now, in the flesh, in person. So combine your digital habitus with your physical habitus. Meet at the intersection, that happy medium, and bring all of your human qualities to each habitus, okay? Whether you're online or off, often it's both. Bring your very, very best to the table. Give your very, very best to others. They'll reciprocate. They will give back to you. I am here for you. I hope you are here for me. You are today if you're listening, if you're watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Bob Cargill's Marketing Show, episode 208. We'll talk to you again soon.